Look up! Don't be distracted while you walk. Phones, headphones, video games, put them away. Friends don't distract their friends. Always look both ways before crossing the street. Never chase anything into the street. Animals or toys, they're not worth risking your life over. And most importantly, use the crosswalk. It's there for your safety. Remember, kids and adults alike, if you want to be safe when you cross the street, look up.
So good morning to everyone here at Colonial Acres. I'm Alameda County Supervisor Nate Miley. For those who don't know me, I just want to thank Paul Schaffner from my staff for working with the committee to bring together today's press conference and the whole effort around Don't Rush Safety. You know, but first of all, before I talk about the campaign, let me also acknowledge folks who have been involved with this effort. We have the Alameda County Sheriff's Department, we have the county's Public Works Agency, we have the California Highway Patrol, and we have the school districts, the Castro Valley Unified School District, the San Lorenzo Unified School District, of which this school is in the San Lorenzo Unified School District, as well as the Hayward Unified School District. And also we have community groups that have been involved with this who are advocating for bike, ped, safety as well. And then Safe Routes to School, which is working with the Alameda County Transportation Commission. So the Don't Rush Safety effort, started last year as a campaign to improve conditions around and near schools so that youngsters could walk and roll to and from school safely, so that we could also alleviate drop-off, pickup, congestion, and issues associated with parents bringing their children, students to and from school. And so last year's campaign was very successful, and so this year, along with the planning that's taken place, the focus has been on Look Up, because I think many of you recognize with these electronic devices, I know probably everybody here today has an electronic device. Everybody's got a cell phone, right? Smartphone. So with these electronic devices, young people, and not just young people, but adults and others, tend to kind of keep their face into the electronic device when they're walking and talking. They're looking at this device. Also, there's this popular game that's going around now, and there are a number of distractions as pedestrians when students and others are walking to and from school. And traffic safety, because we're all about complete streets, and complete streets, we're looking at streets that are available for not just vehicle traffic and transit like buses, but we're looking for complete streets so that pedestrians as well as cyclists, those on skateboards and others, can enjoy these streets as well. So the responsibility for safety isn't just the motorist's responsibility. The responsibility for safety is also with the person who's on the skateboard. The responsibility for safety is with the person who's riding the bicycle. The responsibility for safety is with the pedestrian. So this year's effort that we're launching today is Look Up, because we want students and others, when they're walking, to look up and pay attention. Don't be looking at the electronic device. Don't be playing some silly game while you're out walking, coming to and from school, and in other associations as well. Even though the target is near and around schools, what we're talking here is universal type applications in terms of behavior. So we're talking about look up, pay attention to where you're walking. You can be walking down the street. You can trip on the sidewalk. You can trip on things. I jog and there are times when I'm jogging and there might be an indentation in the sidewalk or something that might cause me to stumble. So you have to constantly be paying attention, and that's what we want to have students to be doing. That's the focus. And there are things that we're working on to try to ensure that there's alternatives to parents when they come to drop off and pick up their youngsters. One thing that we're working on through the Alameda County Transportation Commission is a student transit pass program where students can ride public transit to get to and from schools. We're launching this throughout Alameda County in all 4 parts of the county. It's a pilot program, but ultimately this program will be countywide and it will be in every school district, and it's part of the Measure BB effort that passed a number of years ago around transit safety, transportation projects, and other programs associated with pedestrians, with seniors, with motorists, etc. And this student bus pass program is one of those things. So that's something that can be considered as well. So what I'd like to do at this time is introduce our superintendents, because I'm really, I work with both of these superintendents very closely. I really appreciate their involvement and the relationships that we have as a county with the school districts. And today we have Superintendent Fred Bill from the San Lorenzo Unified School District and Parvin Amandi from the Castro Valley Unified School District. And they're going to make some remarks, and then we're going to hear from a student after that. So why don't I have the superintendents come on up.
Good morning. My name is Fred Brill, Superintendent of the San Lorenzo Unified School District. I'd like to welcome all of you to Colonial Acres Elementary School. And we are getting ready, all of us feverishly, for our students who will be arriving on September 29th. And I'm really pleased to launch this Don't Rush Safety initiative here at Colonial Acres. And I want to, again, acknowledge the different partners we have, from Supervisor Miley's office, the Alameda County Sheriff's Department, Safe Routes to School, and our partner districts. But I also want to take a moment to acknowledge our parent partners. And as we ease out of summer vacation and into the school year, I want to take a moment to paint a picture for you. I am also a parent, and while my kids are now out of the house, I fondly remember those years of getting my children ready for school, feeding the dog, making sure my kids ate breakfast, brush your teeth. Did you bring your homework? Where's your backpack? Get in the car, quick, we're late. All of us have had those frantic moments, and what we're really asking our parent partners is to breathe, to slow down, to take the time to be with your children and safely help them get to school. The last thing that any of us wants is for there to be some type of tragic accident involving one of our children. And while all of us are frantically busy, we really do need to think about the fact that student safety is the most important thing that we're all committed to. To this end, I'm very proud to let folks know that we have embarked on 3 different traffic mitigation projects in our district this summer at Hesperian Elementary School, Lorenzo Manor, and Corvallis, and we will be starting at Dayton to do new traffic loops to help ease the traffic congestion and make sure that things are going a little bit more smoothly. At the end of the day, we are all here for our children and families, and together I'm confident that if we slow down, take a deep breath, become a little more mindful in how we're transporting our children, we will have a really positive and productive school year. So I look forward to our ongoing work together on behalf of the children. Thanks, and have a great school year.
Welcome, everybody. I do want to start by saying just a few words about our amazing parents who've always tried to get their kids to school on time, use as many different ways, safe ways to get them to school in Castro Valley. And the fact that our schools, and we've talked about this before, our schools were really built in all of our school districts for maybe 200, 300, 400 students, and now we have more students and more families who actually work and have to drop their kids off. So these are really important initiatives that we have embarked on. But I do want to thank all of our partners. The Sheriff's Department, Safe Routes to School, and Supervisor Nate Miley has just been incredible with his support for our school district, and especially in this area of safety. So this new campaign, last year it was Don't Rush Safety, and you should see that sign at every one of our schools. And it's still up, and it will continue to be up as a reminder, because we have to remember not to rush. As you said, take our time and be safe. But this year, Look Up is very important, because as you have heard, most of us, even me, I have my cell phone with me all the time, but paying attention to your surroundings versus your cell phone is really important. And believe it or not, our students in elementary school are carrying cell phones. So this is something that we really need to remind them of constantly. We do have our challenges. We want to encourage parents to walk to school, to have their children walk to school, or use their bicycles to get to school. And in Castro Valley, we have our unique challenges with not enough sidewalks, overgrown backyards and things like that we are addressing, and we're working with Supervisor's office to address as much as possible. But I have to say, again, safety of our children is everyone's responsibility. Every single one of us have a piece of this, and the responsibility to make sure our students are safe, to put in place rules and regulations and supports for our students so that they can be safe in school, on the way to school, and on the way home. Again, thank you so much, especially to the Sheriff's Office and the Police Department. We couldn't have done what we do to keep our students safe in our schools without them. Thank you so much for being here.
So once again, I want to thank the two superintendents for being here this morning. And as I said, we really appreciate the relationship and the partnership that we have with both these school districts as well as Hayward Unified School District here in the Eden area of Alameda County. We have a student speaker this morning, Andy Lee, and he's going to provide some testimony. He's an 11th grader, and he's going to come on up and talk a little bit about why or how distracted walking affects him. So, Andy.
Good morning. My name is Andy Lee. I'm a junior from high school in this region. Winston Churchill once said about 70 years ago, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every single dog that barks." Even today in the 21st century, teenagers are struggling to fully comprehend the meaning of Churchill's words, just as politicians did 70 years ago during World War II. Constantly distracted by smartphone usage, students fail to prioritize the genuine matters of importance within their lives, instead dedicating obscene amounts of time on minuscule matters that have little impact on their future aspirations. The rise of the popular and highly addicting app, Pokemon Go, has essentially captivated the minds of youth, much as opium did 170 years ago during the British wars in China. While Pokemon Go may not seem harmful on the surface, the occasional lack of traffic attention is merely the tip of the iceberg. Medical studies have consistently shown that constant amounts of time dedicated to cell phone usage is not only harmful to the eyes and the skin, it is one of the leading causes of cancer in America. Children are literally killing themselves, so to speak, just to enjoy snippets of short-time pleasure. Personal matters aside, Pokemon Go has also directly affected the lives of thousands of responsible, law-abiding citizens on the road who simply want to go home safely without incident. Children roaming the streets in search of the latest Pikachu or Charizard endanger the lives of daily commuters coming home from work, many of whom are forced to work extra hard just not to crash into irresponsible teens who can't even lift their head to watch the traffic signal. Tragedy is bound to take fruit in such reckless circumstances of pure ignorance and irresponsibility. I live in a neighborhood that is home to many full-time employees. When parents are driving home along hilly roads, it is difficult for them to watch out for Pokemon trainers, especially as the weather begins to turn towards autumn and daylight slowly wanes. Frequently, as I am biking along neighborhood trails, I see teenagers loitering around in community parks, refusing to enjoy the thousands of acres of natural scenery, and instead disturbing the ecosystem with their incessant smartphone usage, simply because the nearby golf course has a Pokemon gym. Occasionally, I will bike to school when my parents are busy for corporate meetings in the mornings. Occasionally, I witness firsthand off the DMW 16-year-olds catching a quick glance at their local Pokeball level status, completely ignoring traffic signs of the denizens of students who are walking along the sidewalk. Sometimes I'll have to personally wait extra long just for a smartphone player to pay attention and drive, after which they would swerve irresponsibly and rush on the road at illegal speeds. Not only this reckless disregard for community safety a disgrace to the honor of hundreds of students across campus, it negatively affects our daily activities, whether making us late for our first period class or stressing out early in the morning because somebody just got hit by a BMW. Despite the unfortunate reality of smartphone addiction these days, I continue to strongly believe that if the public were educated enough, proper measures can be set in place to gradually solve this problem of far-reaching consequences. Firstly, the Look Up Community Awareness Program is dedicated to informing the public to take full responsibility on the road, regardless of a text from a friend or extra coins from Lego Star Wars. Secondly, schools can take a more active role in enforcing smartphone usage on campus so that students can focus more on their academics and their extracurriculars and even sports activities, rather than becoming the virtual slave of a piece of plastic simply because they lack self-control. On the contrary, strict regulation of smartphone usage would have a positive effect on the community as a whole, forcing teens to interact socially rather than virtually and enjoying nature rather than indulging in a video game. After all, students are in school to prepare themselves for the future, not to endanger their peers and compete to see who can catch them all. At the end of the day, we as a community, as citizens of the Constitution, are faced with a choice that may not seem very difficult to choose, but one that is difficult to enact. We can choose to continue to promote student apathy and technological enslavement on the roads, endangering the lives of thousands of commuters should tragedy befall, or we can choose to promote student responsibility and active citizenship within our communities, educating the public of the necessity of proper on-the-road behavior. We can choose to continue to ignore failing test grades, missing homework assignments, and a lack of self-discipline, both at home and at school, or we can address these issues head-on by enacting reasonable time limits on teenagers to ensure that students are receiving a fresh amount of exercise daily and not being bogged down with an impossible load of homework at 2 a.m. in the morning. Finally, we can choose to treat the press conference as any other political speech that has no real effect on society, or we can actually become the effect that we want this community awareness campaign to materialize into. Nothing is impossible if you set your mind to it. There is nothing that we cannot achieve together if we stand united in our desire for positive change and refuse to allow a lack of faith to inhibit us from the common goal of benefiting society. Let us choose the right choice today. Let us use our precious time to make a positive difference in the next generation while we still can. Let us make this a united front to instill essential moral values in our youth so that we can rest assured that the future we are leaving behind us is a far better promise than the past that has been given to us. Be the change you want to be. When we finally look back at the progress we've made in the years to come, we should only realize how far we have come. Thank you very much.
I want to thank Andy for that eloquent testimony, substantive testimony, and heartfelt testimony. So thank you so very much. That was excellent, excellent. Our next speaker will be from the Highway Patrol, Lieutenant Allen. And we've been working with the California Highway Patrol at least the last 16 years that I've been in office. It's been a really good partnership. The Highway Patrol has got the responsibility for traffic control here in the unincorporated Alameda County, and we work very closely with them to ensure that these people are driving the speed limit, obeying the laws, because there are many communities where there's reckless driving, there's disrespect for pedestrians, disrespect for other drivers. There's all sorts of activity taking place with vehicles that is not necessarily appropriate. And I think with the CHP, we try to ensure that in the unincorporated communities of Alameda County, people understand that we expect them to be responsible drivers. And that's also the case with, as I said, pedestrians, cyclists, and others. We all have a responsibility. So I just would like to have Lieutenant Allen come on up from the California Highway Patrol, give some remarks. And as I said, we really appreciate the work that law enforcement provides here in unincorporated Alameda County.
Good morning. So I have to say that Andy did set the bar fairly high. I won't be quoting Winston Churchill, but excellent job. Nicely done, Andy. So good morning. My name's Jim Allen. I'm the commander of the Castro Valley CHP office here locally in our unincorporated communities. And our office is responsible for providing traffic law enforcement services for all of our local unincorporated communities. So I'd like to thank Supervisor Miley and his staff for once again including the CHP in this event and the Don't Rush Safety campaign, as well as our partners with the Sheriff's Office and the other public agencies that are represented here today, as well as our school districts. We look forward to continuing our partnership with the various agencies, schools, community groups, and the public to provide for the safety of our students as they travel to and from school. Motorists and pedestrians share the responsibility to ensure the safety of one another, and it's important to be aware and vigilant of pedestrians and vehicle traffic while traveling on our local roadways, as was stated earlier. The California Highway Patrol employs both educational and enforcement efforts in support of our students' safety. Our officers participate in various safety presentations throughout the year in support of this goal. Our officers also provide a traffic enforcement presence at local schools throughout the year, particularly during our drop-off and pickup times. We also have a number of retired senior volunteers in our office who observe traffic surrounding the school zones, and they relay that pertinent information to our officers so we can address those concerns appropriately. Our office at the local Castro Valley CHP encourages our community members to contact us with any specific traffic concerns or questions regarding school zones or any other traffic safety matters for that matter. Working with our traffic safety partners and the community, we can continue to provide the highest level of safety, service, and security to the people that we serve. So I'd like to thank you very much on behalf of the men and women of the California Highway Patrol and our local office here in Castro Valley. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you for including us today. And thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Our next speaker, really pleased to bring forth Assistant Sheriff Casey Neese. I can't say enough about the work of Alameda County Sheriff's Department. People talk about police, community relations. Our Sheriff's Department isn't talking the talk, they're walking the walk. They're walking that talk as well. They are so engaged with the community in many aspects, doing a lot of cutting edge things to try to ensure that the community understands law enforcement and law enforcement understands the community. I'm just so very proud of the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. The assistant sheriff, he'll make some remarks, but I just want to say that according to county statistics, approximately 70% of accidents involving pedestrians, it was determined that the pedestrian was at fault. Approximately 70%. So it gets back to what we've been saying. Pedestrians have a responsibility. And as Andy pointed out, it's important that people not have their faces in that electronic device or be playing games and other things, and pay attention. Because even if you're paying attention, you can still get distracted, or you can still have some type of incident that could be avoidable. So I'd like to bring the Assistant Sheriff forward, and as I said, I'm just so very proud of the Alameda County Sheriff's Department for all the work they do, the partnerships they have with my office, with the school district, with the CHP, with the community and others. So I'm going to bring the Assistant Sheriff forward now.
Well, thank you, Supervisor Miley. My name is Casey Neese, and I am an Assistant Sheriff with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office is proud to join the CHP and our other participating agencies to continue to support the Look Up and Don't Rush safety program. As Supervisor Miley just indicated, the Sheriff's Office has a lot of community involvement, and I am proud and happy to be joined by the gentleman behind me and to my left, our Law Enforcement Services Commander, Kelly Miles, our Youth and Family Services Captain, Marty Nidifer, excuse me, Sergeant Franco, Deputy Dallasay, and Sergeant Schuler. And what the men behind me represent is the highlighting of the Sheriff's Office commitment by the Patrol, Traffic, Community-Oriented Police and Problem-Solving Unit, and our School Resources Unit to ensure the safety of not only our students, but the motoring public. In closing, remember, look up, don't rush, safety. Thank you.
So this morning you've heard from a student, you've heard from the superintendents, you've heard from law enforcement, from both the California Highway Patrol and the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. And and as I mentioned earlier, we partnered with Public Works, and what we've done is out there we've painted a mural on one of the utility boxes out here, and we painted the mural as a Don't Rush Safety symbol. And once again, this is all about trying to raise awareness, but in painting the utility box, that's also an effort at beautifying the community, providing more aesthetically pleasing opportunities for the community. So it's another step. So we're going to go over there and take some pictures, and we invite everyone to take a look at that, and then we're going to come back. Okay, with the photo here, then we'll go over there, take some pictures, then we'll go in and we'll see the video that was shot this year for Look Up. So once again, I really want to thank you all for coming out, and hopefully this information will be spread on social media, spread on local media, and also through the print media, so that we just continue our efforts to raise awareness, to educate, with Public Works to do engineering, and with law enforcement, not just to educate, but to provide the law enforcement, because as I said, everybody's got a responsibility. You know, the cyclists have got to obey the law, the pedestrians have got to obey the law, the motorists have got to obey the law. We all have to be responsible in our behaviors, and that's the bottom line. So thank you all. Let's get some pictures.